Welcome to Grit, the Real Estate Growth Mindset podcast, hosted by Brian Charlesworth, founder of Sisu. Sisu provides growth automation software for real estate. You'll hear stories from real estate thought and technology leaders, team owners, and brokers on how they grew their business in a rapidly changing industry. You'll learn how to transform your brokerage and teams into a high-performing and analytics-driven business so you have a new, durable, competitive advantage against disruption in your market. So let's get right into it.
Todd's going to be talking to us about video today, and isn't it great? But right? Todd runs a team at Howard Hanna, has been extremely successful. We're grateful to have him as a Sisu customer. Anyway, Todd, you've also developed a video company of your own, software technology company. So anyway, I'm excited to hear what you have to say today. The key thing here, you're saying how we're using video to target marketing. And it's important that you're targeting who you want, right? You know who it is you want to bring in. So anyway, I'm going to let you just kick things off. I'll be here to ask questions along the way.
Well, in listening to your session with Greer earlier, he referenced Lauren Young, the chief economist of NAR. And I also recall hearing Lawrence Young on stage right before we had that great recession. I was right in the midst of it. And at that time, Lawrence Young said, never waste a crisis. And so for us at that time, we really had to then see what additional costs we could cut. We were overstaffed. And so we really had to be to that mode of never waste a crisis, because sometimes you have to have tough conversations and part ways with people or part ways with programs or vendors or advertising. And then now I think it's really to the point of you pivot on a pandemic. I know one of the things that you mentioned, the leads that you get now are the leads you can keep. Because I think if you're ever having a transaction with somebody in 2020, I mean, of all the times you hear 2020 vision, who saw this coming, right? That's a whole different vision. But these are people that it's an experience they're going to remember. They're going to remember moving in that epic year. And we're so blessed to be in the housing industry where we have the elimination of distractions because we're having a lot of virtual seminars. We're not traveling as much, not traveling really too much at all. Our clients aren't traveling. They're not going to concerts. They're not going to baseball games. So they're really focusing on their housing. And before we used to look for houses with his and her closets. Now they need his and her offices or the workout space. So you're seeing that. And I think it's also an opportunity for us to really capture some higher end clients. And that's what we specifically did to do, is target clients that would be looking for that type of property where they could have a compound, really have a compound effect, because they want more privacy. They want the home gym. They want all of these items. And a lot of times, you may want to have your own pool. I know in the subdivision my folks live in over in the Hunt Club, when they had the pool, you had to register. Do you want, at the country club pool, do you want a certain date? They're like a month out book. So it's June and they're like, okay, do you want August 12th, the morning or the afternoon? I mean, I'm hot and I jump in the pool in 5 minutes. I'm not thinking 5 weeks in advance. So I think that really opened up the opportunity. And then I saw in our local newspaper on Cleveland.com, which is combined with online advertising, what's called Advantage One, that they had a little promo that if you spend 15 days, here's a great promotion. They say, you know what? It's like a grant. If you go ahead and apply for it, and then you spend $1,500 a month, they'll match it. So I got approved to spend $1,500 a month, right? They approved me. But then they said, but you've got to do it for 3 consecutive months. And I was fine with that. So we did some really good math with our team, kind of a branding videos with masks and how we would show properties and sell properties safely. So that just made good client awareness and kind of educated in a fun, entertaining way. Yeah. And then we followed that up with some really upper end properties. And I'm so used to doing videos that would go, property videos, about a minute, maybe, because, video, they say, okay, 2 minutes or less, 90 seconds or less, minute or less. And then I agreed to do this because I thought I had some good videos ready to go. And they're like, okay, 30 seconds or less. And you're like, oh, good. And then you got to really make it more impactful. So we worked on a series of videos for our properties that would just be upper end properties, pretty punchy, fun videos. And we got them done in 30 seconds or less. And so it also made me realize, okay, let me hit a different target audience. So I went over to cranes And a lot of people get cranes. In our area, it's Cranes Cleveland. Maybe in your area as well. There's a lot of different cities that have cranes, and it is just all the business insights of what's going on, commercial real estate, anything in the area specific going on to that particular city. And most people really enjoy reading the cranes. Anytime I visit an office in downtown Cleveland, I'd always grab a copy of this. So much to the point I finally subscribed to it. But guess what? People aren't going to the office as much. So where are they reading cranes? They're reading it online. So we went over and spoke with the rep at Cranes and said, okay, here's what I'm going to be doing over at Cleveland.com. Can you pop in some 30-second spots on cranes? So we did that. And then to our delight, he's quickly responded back after the first month. He's like, okay, you're getting 8 times the engagement and open rates that we've ever seen on any cranes videos. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I'm going to then tell my videographer, okay, we got a 10X now. We got to step up a little bit.
Now, do you have an in-house videographer or that's outsourced?
We have basically in-house because it is, well, here's the beautiful thing about Facebook and Facebook reminders as well. There's a great Cleveland event photographer named Orville, and he does a lot of major events, photography, some video. And I'd always try and say, hey, Orville, can you work on this? And he'd be like, Todd, I can shoot it. I got the hour and a half to shoot it. I don't have the time to edit it. So about March, Facebook pops up and it's like, yeah, you did this with Orville. And I'm like, Orville, event photographer. There's no events, Orville. So at that point, we ended up working a partnership on a video production company so I can utilize his expertise. And then with anybody, it's just a matter of trying to scale things because we've got Orville overbooked. So it is now bringing on other videographers. And here in this compound, I can house 6 of them could live here, plus have the ability of an extra 20 in the area could actually come here and have a creative compound for content creators, whether it's writers or video producers or cameramen talent. So we can really scale it up that way. So different things that we did. So one of the cool things, and this is a property that I did the same things I mentioned with cranes. At that point, we just spent $1,500 a month. And so it helped with, I actually got this listing because over in the hunt club where my parents lived, I was videoing a property with the drone, Orville was, and I get a text message, is that your drone flying next to our house? I said, yes. And they said, well, my dad needs to sell the house that he has over in Kirtland Hills. It's going to be in the 1.3 million range. And I'm like, that's great. So we go ahead, listed that one, and it had a really long driveway. And so when I was in there, I was like, you know what? If you list with me today, I'll have my guys pressure wash the whole driveway. Well, I didn't think how long it was. I actually had to bring 7 hoses over to pressure wash the whole driveway. But then when we did the video, we brought in a girl that goes on rollerblades and swivels around. And so she would hold up a sign that says pond or fountain and do all. So it's not just going through the property itself. It's making it, how do you captivate it and make it look more entertaining for people? So we did that, which created a lot of interest with it. And this is a really good, ideal property to entertain at. It's got a phenomenal pavilion overlooking the pool. So we decided, you know what? Let's throw a pop-up party. Because one thing I learned I really, really like to do, Brian, is throw parties at other people's houses. It's like someone when you have a really nice house. So we did this, and I did it really in 48 hours or less. Called up, had live music. And I saw this other girl on Facebook that eats flames and does fire spinning. And I'm like, oh, you're perfect. You're on the team. So we brought it in, and then we had a pop-up video party there and captured that as well. And that had really good feedback. And then I had a buyer that I actually happened to meet over at Lifetime when I was working out in the sauna. And he does a lot of real estate. People may know him as Mark Evans, Mark DM, but he calls me on that property. He's like, hey, Tom, I'm like, this is Mark Evans. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, I can picture your face. And I'm like, I can picture your hat, because he always wears this hat, this stylish hat. And so it's funny because I pull him up, and then, people, you say how you look on Instagram or how you look at, so on Instagram, he's sitting there, he's got the hat on, cigar in his mouth. He's got Bentley, 3 phenomenal cars, Rolls Royce, spectacular, Then he comes up in the Mercedes SUV, same look, but then he pulls out the baby carrier. And I'm like, even ballers carry babies. So he carried the young baby in there. And then sure enough, I was able to sell that property myself directly, and then have a really cool pop-up party video. So you'll have to see that sometimes. You want to see what it is. So then we put that on cranes.com as well. I had another unique property.
I have a question for you around this. So you, with the pandemic, really started focusing on high-end videos and targeting the high-end market. I know your average price point because you have Sisu. So last year, your average price point was what? And what is it this year?
If you're in the team, our team's normally about 227,000. Me personally, I pushed it well over 400,000 on sales just recently. It's probably been higher than that as it's coming in right now to pull it. I should know that exact number. That's Chrissy's got to pull that up. But we have now it's just increasing that price. So I do twofold because number one, on those properties, you're going all in, giving them a complete media package that's going to attract more people. Because like, as you said, the leads you get now, the leads you keep. And you also make an experience that they want to share for others. Have a video so cool that they want to share it. So I'm on that along with sharing solutions. So I've got a team of 5 guys right now, not the burger place, but it sounds like the burger place. And I joked about that on Saturday morning because I had a previous client that wanted to buy a house and I'm showing it to them and both of their in-laws are there. They like the house. And then you get the text message from the agent. There's an offer on the house right now. And you're like, okay, how do you say this, you got to say it. And I just kind of want you to see this text. And so they decide to buy that property without the sale of theirs. But they still, wanted to sell this pretty quickly. And they had some painting and things to do. And so on Saturday, 8 o'clock, I had 5 guys there, painted the entire basement, painted all of the trim. I said it's complimentary on me. And then I had an open house that night. That day, I had an open house on Sunday. Monday, we had 6 offers on the property, sold it well over list price, got them 30 days rent free so they could actually now close on their current property before heading out to the next one. So I think it's a lot of times it's how you can simplify things. People want to make a move. I deal with a lot of estate sales, properties where you may have 3 siblings and they need to sell the family house. Mm-hmm. And what happens if you ever get that and they try and clear it out, what happens is they'll go there on Saturday, about like 10 or 11. They'll start looking at some photo albums. They'll cry and they'll leave and they really don't get anything done. And I'm like, okay, what you really just need to do is just take anything that you want. If there's anything you want me to donate, just mark it donate. We get just stickers to do that. Mark that if there's things that you want to put in storage, let me know that. And then we've got guys in trucks that will literally dispose things, get a dumpster. We take things over to Lake County Furniture Bank. So we will clear the property out, paint it, pull any wallpaper, pull any carpet. We do hardwood floors just so they can literally do things. And I got guys that will do it very efficiently. So I normally will lose a little bit of money on property prep.
So you actually do that at your own expense.
If you've been enjoying Grit, please help us continue to grow the channel by leaving a 5-star review and sharing it with a friend. Now back to Grit.
And most of the time I'm doing it at my expense. Sometimes if it's minor, I'm going to do it at my expense. If it's a property, one of them, I said, okay, here's what we've done to the property. I'm like, it's all new carpet, some things. I'm like, it would, my guys can do all of this and it would be $3,500. I probably spent over $5,000, but again, didn't make a difference. I got that listing. I'm going to get both the listings on either side of them. But nowadays, if you can provide that solution, whatever it may be, so any property prep slows people down. And right now we're in a time frame where it's an active market. The leads are changing. It's changing right now. You're starting to see them. They're going to start falling. And then you also come over, once you hit November, we lose an hour of daylight. So all of a sudden you're trying to show a house. You show it during the week, and it's going to be dark probably in November. Yeah. The show to get on the weekend. So when you have it, it's how quickly can you get it on the market? When I leave here today, I'll be bringing the drone over. They called me up, and it was called New Promise Church. So if you ever want to over-deliver, you do that for New Promise Church. So they've got a property here, 2 homes on it. Pastor used to live in the back one. They had a property up front they could use a rental. And at that point, that was part of the compensation. If you work for the church, you'd have housing there. But they want to sell that property now, put some improvements in the church. So interviewing 3 realtors, and I walk through the first ranch and I look, and there's, in the basement, I see some trim missing. Basement needs to be painted. And I'm like, I can have guys do that. I can have guys do that. So I said, we'll do all that. So we're doing, I did things that I, didn't even tell them about. Pressure wash the driveway, refinish the deck. And this is funny when you get a call and somebody, normally if you get a call about any contractors, they're normally saying, okay, where are your guys? Things, when's it going to be done? I get a call from Pastor Roy yesterday. He's like, you didn't tell me you were putting in a hardwood floor. And he was slightly concerned because they thought I was going to charge him. But in the back main house, they had a big garage with 2 entrances, one in the laundry room, one in this really nice office. When I saw it, it all had boxes in it. Now Pastor Roy moved out. Now it's got no flooring. I bought flooring from my neighbor a while back, extra flooring. I knew it would cover that. So it wasn't very expensive for me to get. So then I just had my guys lay the hardwood floor on there. But it's nice when you actually surprise somebody with a hardwood floor in there. And so that one will hit the market. I'll take pictures today. I'll actually then attend their service that they have 10:30 on Sunday and then have it held open right afterwards. But you just get that type of, when you overwhelm people and just create, I know you've talked about user experience or customer experience. We really kind of look for, we call it entertrainment. If you can have visitor or guest entertainment where you literally entertain them at the same time that you train them on the process of what's going on, and just make it so it's excitable for them, that they really, our job is to help them transfer title. In the meantime, we're transferring energy. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what my guys can do. And then you still do more than you ever said. And then it's just, you get compound with referrals on it. So that's a base of, that's the base of a market in Cleveland. But that allows me, to get things done, service a lot of clients, but then also at that same carve out the market where you can afford the investment it takes to go after higher end properties. Because that you're investing some dollars in the videos, the technology, the drone. So I got the new drone I've got. When I was a little concerned, I'm looking at Orville, and I thought it was like his screen was cracked on his phone because I see like yellow stripes on this thing. And I'm like, what's wrong with the drone? And he's like, no, that's a tracking device. So when the girl's skating on the driveway, it's literally following her, tracking her. And so then I said, okay, that's cool. I've got another property called Africa Acres. It used to be a 1,100 acre retreat for like 3 elite families that were involved, that had homes over in Millionaires Row in Cleveland. So I'm like, all right, Orville, for this one, I'm going to get a mechanical bird and I'm going to fly it. And I want you to, track this thing. And then somebody said to me, do you even know how to fly the bird? And I said, the bird is really cheap. I really don't care if the bird crashes. But they're like, isn't the drone tracking the bird? So if the bird crashes, I said, good point, Orville, pull off the bird. I don't really know how to fly the bird. And I can prove that because then he later took a video of me getting the bird off the roof of the house because I did land it there. But I think if you can go all over, settle anything for your clients and whatever it takes type of attitude, they appreciate that. Because when he went to drone that property, I see there's branches all up on the roof. So pull the ladder out. We'll get the branches off the roof. But I think with those clients, they're business owners. This gentleman of that property happens to own a business that manufactures everything for display cases for Lowe's and everything that holds up for like faucet items and things of that nature. So he's got a large clientele, but you create experiences like, wow, I can't believe everything that you did. And then you just get more referrals that way. But what you have to then do is capture it on video. So first we've captured the properties, then we'll double back and capture all the testimonials, but really quick, punchy with good editing. I'm gonna take a drink too. As part of the Full-Time Closers group, we're supposed to have participation, and I don't participate enough. So I'm hoping product placement counts as participation.
Todd, it seems to me that you go out of your way to make things fun and to make things convenient for whomever you're working with. And in doing that, what's happening is you're driving a referral business. Is that a fair description?
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's funny when the pastor told me, like, listen, it was pretty close between 3 of you, 3 realtors we interviewed. And then I met him last night and I said, my goal is to make it sure it wasn't even close. I mean, you thought it was close going in, but what we've done just prepping the property, we'll start marketing it today. It's a clear decision. And then again, create that experience. Then you want to just get the video so they're text version so that you get a video done. You can text it to your seller at work where they're showing other people this. They're saying, I can't believe they did these items. So it's just a matter of how quick and punchy and fun you can make a 30-second video.
So if I'm not doing a lot of video today in my business, how do I quickly get into that? What kind of equipment is required? How are you creating videos that are making a difference?
Yeah, I think just to start off with video, the cell phones that we have nowadays are absolute recording studios that happen to text people and make phone calls as well. So I know my partner Lisa's been just crushing with videos, going to different open houses. Went to my open house on Sunday, put 3 shots together, 3 videos of the iPhone. She was able to quickly just edit that. She went to the open house at 12 o'clock. I think by 12:15, she posted a video on the house, me presenting in the kitchen, address on it. So you can shoot any video on your phone.
iPhone 11 Plus is what you're using, or what are you using?
So that thing's phenomenal.
Yeah. Okay. We have 5 minutes left, Todd. What are the key things for next year that maybe you want to summarize that you feel are going to make a difference to really focus and take your business to the next level?
When it comes down for any agent listening to this right now, it's just start off with training your clients. How well can you train a client, make it enjoyable, make the process so that they can enjoy it, relieve the stress. Here's an item. Most people are now doing things on their cell phone. So if you're meeting with a client, like I'll be doing, went through the listing agreement, give a client, whether it's a seller that you're currently working with, when you meet with them, give them an example of a sales agreement, a purchase agreement on their property. You can just write it, you can fill it in a dot loop. You can put awesome buyers as the buyer's name, but have them look at that. So at the time that they get an offer, they have already seen a printed copy they can digest. If the first time they're seeing a purchase agreement is on their cell phone at 8:30 at night while they're driving, they're not going to be able to process it. So the more you can walk people through the steps is the difference. So you want to go ahead and make it simple. One thing is I save myself in my own phone as a contact. So if I need to relay my information to somebody else, I just share my contact information in there, tell them to open it up and save it so you can save the contact information, save their contact information. If you're to call me, I'm like, hey, Brian, how can I help you today? People just get a chuckle out of that I'm greeting them by name when they go ahead and give me a call. So those type of things of educating people on the process so that they know the next step. I think with technology, which is phenomenal to expedite things, we've gotten away from the explanation of items. We used to walk people through the buying process with the flow chart, and we have that, but we don't do it diligently enough every single time to a client on both the home selling and the home buying process. So I think you just need to still interact with your clients, differentiate yourself on how you can be there in the process. So if I'm showing people a property, so Brian, if I'm out and I'm showing you homes, I'm gonna say, listen, Brian, what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at 3 houses today. And if there's any of them that you like, I'm gonna call the listing agent while we're in the house. Just wanna verify, is it still available? Just wanna make sure, if my people it's in the top 3, but if they decide to write on it, just wanna see, when would your seller like to give up possession? How quickly can you get it presented? And then is there any exclusions? So I tell them the phone call I'm going to make. They're in the house that they love. I'm making that exact phone call, just like I told them. Because it's a performance, as we know. And it's how well you can deliver it. And I think one of the things I've ever, because people say, well, I don't want to sound scripted. Well, what you want to be is fluid. If your delivery is that good, it seems it's effortless and it flows. And the best thing I ever heard, it's just like telling a joke. Some people can tell it really well. Some people just hack the joke up. But the people who tell it well, it's like a story. So you want to basically have little stories that move people along. There's similar stories, just like comedians, or somebody's going to give a similar joke, but make it so it's captivating, entertaining, and really, you can help them transfer title, but you have to transfer energy, experience, insight, wisdom, passion, and have them enjoy the process and share it with their friends so that they want to work with you, and you'll have a darn good time doing it.
Sorry, I guess I was muted. My phone was ringing, so I muted myself out for a second. So anyway, thank you for joining. I think you've done a great job in really making the experience a great one for everyone that you work with. I think that's something that every person in real estate could definitely work on and take their business to the next level. Really shows that you care about your people and the experience, and just a completely different approach that I think a lot of people are not utilizing. So thank you so much for jumping in today and sharing that with us. And
Sisu swag now. So this is the same color. So I'll be working some Sisu swag next time.
It's in the mail for you.
Nice.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on our podcast. If you have an interest in a free 7-day trial of Sisu, go to sisu.co, sisu.co. Make sure that you use the coupon code GRIT, that's GRIT, to waive all your setup fees and receive a 10% discount on your subscription. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast and want to subscribe, search GRIT, the Real Estate Growth Mindset, on iTunes, Spotify, or Podbean. And with that, we'll catch you next time. Take care.